The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Jesse Holley, Kurt Daniels, and Nate Newton.
What's going on, y'all? It's Monday. Nothing to cheer about. You see what outside looks like. That's how we feel. Dark, gloomy, rainy, cold. That's what it is. Cowboys lose a heartbreaker in overtime yesterday, 31-28 to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. This segment is brought to you by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. With no further ado, I mean, there's no way to introduce this. This is one of those deals where you get right to it.
All right.
This is one of those times I wish Shannon was here, because I would love to sit over there in that seat and not have to say a word. But such is life, and I have to sit in this captain seat.
We got to hear your
and
opinions and viewpoints.
Yeah, we'll get to all of those. And there, I can promise you this: there is not enough showtime for us to go over everything today. But we'll start. I mean, we'll start. Where do y'all want to start? I mean, where do you want to start? Kurt, what do you want to start? Let's start with the notes Kurt sent. Let's start with that. Let's just go.
Let's just.
Oh, you want me to start?
How you doing?
I'll be glad.
Yes. Uncle Nathaniel.
I did it.
The floor
I did
is yours.
it in a show before this show, and I'm gonna do it again. And I got nothing to do after this one.
Michael Parsons.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I want to apologize to Coach McCarthy because I thought he had made a rash decision. But as I go back and I look, and our kicker, Maher, wasn't himself in the win situation. So, because I thought at the end when we could have kicked the field goal and gave our defense one last shot to try to stop that vaunted running game of the Packers. I thought but our kicker wasn't hitting it yesterday. He wasn't feeling it. So I want to apologize to Coach McCarthy. But to the rest of y'all, do your job. And I'm not talking about coaches. I'm talking about the defensive line. Do your job. That was poor. We brought in Hangin. It didn't make a difference. That was poor. We said all week, every podcast we listened to, every radio station in the DFW area, how do we know as a collective media group and ex-players and editors who've been writing for 85 years. I'm talking about you, Mickey,
Nick Eatman.
Nick Eatman. Yeah. To a man saying, all we don't need is for Rodgers to find a receiver. And I ain't never heard of Watson in my life. I didn't even know he was a first-round pick. But guess what? Just like 3 years ago, I had never heard of Aaron Jones. Now I know him.
Just to give you a little bit of context on that, leading into this game, Christian Watkins and 9.
That's his first name?
Christian. His name is Christian Watson.
Sorry, sir.
In 9 NFL weeks, he had a total of 10 catches for 88 yards and 0 touchdowns. In 9 weeks. In 9 NFL American football weeks. 10 catches, 88 yards, 0 touchdowns. Last night against the Cowboys, 4 catches, 107 yards, 26.8 yards a catch, a long of 53. And as he did in the end zone, not 1, not 2, but 3.
Wow.
Touchdowns on the Cowboys, and he dropped 2 or 3 passes. That could have made this even more of an egregious outcome of this situation. Kurt, you watched the game. Is the sky falling? Is this team not as good as we think they are?
Well,
is it offense? Is it defense? What?
Yes, all the above. It feels like it today. It feels like the sky's falling. I still think this is a playoff caliber team, but as we talked about before, they just can't prove they can beat the good teams. They'll beat up on the younger, the lesser teams and get the wins racked up, where they'll probably be a wild card. But again, it just makes you question: are they ever going to get out of the first round? They just don't seem to be able to put that together. And I don't know, like to your point, Nate, you're talking about the defensive line and do your job. I mean, are they not doing their job? Are they doing the wrong things? Or are they just don't have the talent or the bulk or the strength or whatever it takes to get it done?
The other alternative is, I'm serious, the other alternative is bring 8 people on the line and just let them sit there.
Yeah.
And try to scheme up out of that who's going to drop back or whatever. Fellas, this has been happening for me for over 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I said it Friday, I said, fellas, we play a good quarterback who wants to win. That's his goal. It's to win the game. And a decent running game. And we always seem to fall a little bit short. Yeah, this play didn't go right. This ref did this. This ref did that. This ref did it. Yeah, and that's why Minnesota went up to Buffalo and won, because the ref did them in too. So I don't want to hear it, man. Do your job. If you are Bohannon, if you are Armstrong, if you are DeMarcus Lawrence, if you are Michael Parsons playing defensive end, do your job. They open up. First 4 or 5 runs, average 4 yards. Average 4 yards. Aaron Rodgers at the end of regulation said to his head coach, run. And he said some choice words.
Bleep, bleep.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
That's a quarterback that want to win and at all costs turn his team around.
What if I told you at the end of the first half of a football game, that a 2-time MVP, 3-time MVP, would only have 6 passing attempts and 4 completions in an entire half of football? Then what if I told you that the end of regulation, that he would only have another 9 completions and a total of 19 passes thrown? And what if I told you in overtime that he only had 1 pass and 1 completion?
Wow.
This is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about here. This is a dude and a team that says, conversely, on the other side, Dak Prescott threw 25 times at halftime, threw another 15 in the second half to put him at 40, and then threw another 6 in overtime. 46 passing attempts against the 27th ranked run defense in the National Football League. One of these teams realized that where our advantage is at. Our advantage is playing a poor run defense. So what are we going to do? Run the football. And to your point, Nate, when they had the game on the line the first time, and I thought they were going to go down and win it, and LaFleur called a pass play, Aaron Rodgers comes off the sideline and he looks at his coach and say, "You run that mother."
Yeah.
Don't call another pass. This is Aaron Rodgers saying, do not call another pass.
Yeah.
And we've had this discussion time and time and time again. I said this back in other games early in the year that we had won, and everybody told me, Jesse, you're making too big of this. And I said, even the Philadelphia game, there were 2 drives in that game that I said, those are big boy playoff drives.
Yeah.
Where they go and they run the ball in your face 11, 12 times in a row. and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And it was on display again. And it ain't just up the middle, ladies and gentlemen.
They opened the game with 4 runs outside.
This is attacking the edges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we thought maybe moving Micah Parsons back to linebacker would help. Micah Parsons plays primarily linebacker this game. It didn't matter. They ran left. They ran right. They ran up the middle. They ran off. They ran. You name it, they did it. You could have come in here and bet me $1,000, Kurt, and said, Jesse, Aaron Rodgers is only going to pass the ball 20 times in this football game. Kurt, I would have broke my hand reaching in my pocket so fast to make that bet with you, and you'd have won. And this goes back to we've praised Dan Quinn for his tremendous ability, and I still do think Dan Quinn is an absolute good leader. But you had an entire bye week plus the preparation week to try to figure out some way, shape, or form how can we get our run defense better. And this was the game after you already gave up 250 yards to Chicago, and you gave up 150 yards to Detroit.
Yeah.
See, it's all good because they don't have quarterbacks that matter, that can make the right play when it's time to make the right play.
Yep.
And we gloss right over that. But this was the performance that you came out with, and you gave up another 207 total yards of rushing. They were rushing both of their running backs. One was almost at 6 yards a clip. The other one was at 5 yards a clip. As a team, they were at 5.3 yards a clip. And they ran the ball 39 times. Woo!
Hey, didn't Aaron Rodgers come in here 2 years ago and beat us?
When they last, I think it's been longer than that.
Go, look up the last time.
I think it was
2018?
I think he completed like 18 passes. I tell people like this right here. Some quarterbacks, that's why you always hear me loving on Aaron Rodgers. Control tempo, understand where his defense at, where his offense at. Control tempo. One day the kid Mahomes gonna learn that. Control tempo. At the end of regulation, 32 minutes and 46 seconds. They were down by 14. They did not abandon the run. They kept going with it. That's why I have people all the time say, well, that team just can't run the ball. That is not right. No. It's always a way to run the ball.
We averaged 5.1 yards a carry. I mean, we were right there with them.
And we decided to throw the ball.
Yeah, but then, like Coach McCarthy said, big play penalty. Big play penalty.
And we'll get into that.
You can't keep getting knocked back.
We'll get into that. You got something you want to say?
Well, just that last game you're talking about, Rodgers threw for 238 yards. He had 34 attempts, so he had a pretty good game. Dak in that game threw 44 times.
And did we lose that one too?
And we lost it.
Oh, well, yeah. All right, so let's go to our break. When we come back, we'll talk penalties. Is this team an undisciplined football team? That reared its ugly head again. More decision making. What funeral? More terrible coaching and decision making from the sidelines, and communication problems between your star receiver and your star quarterback. We'll talk about that right after this break. You're with us on Hangin' with the Boys.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a Here Every Week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Back to Hanging with the Boys as we recap this devastating loss. Cowboys lose to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, 31-28 in overtime. And boy, there's so much blame to go around. This segment is sponsored by Blockchain, blockchain.com. Also, holiday camps. 'Tis the season for the Dallas Cowboys Holiday Youth Camp presented by Invisalign. Registration for one-day football and dance academies are now open. Don't miss your chance to send your athlete to camp at AT&T Stadium on December 20th and 21st. Register today at dallascowboys.com/academy and use code XMAS25, XMAS25 to get $25 off. So we talk about communication. Communication.
You know, and I admire that because Jesse said, hey, man, I may be a little bit late. You know, he texted in, he hit all of us, man. Just good communication.
Just communication so that we don't have a misunderstanding.
Right.
And that our show doesn't function and move properly as it's supposed to move.
That's right.
And I didn't say this at the beginning. I got to say it now. I just ready to get to this. This is Kurt, that's Nate, I'm Jesse. We are Hanging with the Boys.
Mm-hmm.
The sports equivalent of Braille. People feel us when we speak.
Yes,
Sorry,
I hope y'all feel us today.
I got off task because it was so
I
so
hope
sad.
they feel us today in this next segment, what we're about to talk about. I hope they feel us.
And you saw in this game, and there were certain things that I talked about earlier this week, Nate. I said, remember, guys, footing on that grass?
Yes.
And I said, remember that Dak is coming off an injury of the thumb?
Right.
And his ability to deliver the football, grip it, rip it, and all those kind of things. And if you go back and you watch the opening of that game, 3 and out, balls were everywhere. Literally. They were high. They were low. They were behind. They were too far in front. It was
not
bad.
Nice. Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that's all due to the thumb, but there was that was a scene. I was just like, this dude it was just errant throw after errant throw after errant throw. And then he got a rhythm, and things got going a little bit, and he went 10 for 10, ran down the field for a touchdown. And then the turnovers begin to happen. They drive down the field, and they get in the red zone. I mean, you're at the doorstep of really putting your foot on the necks of the Green Bay Packers.
And then you gifted to them. That was a fumble.
And that was a fumble.
Yeah,
that was a fumble.
Started at the 10, so they were in business.
And here you are. You have Dalton Schultz, your star tight end. You have CeeDee Lamb, your star wide receiver. And they're running this route combination. Now, people understand that when you get into the red zone, that is a condensed space. You have to be precise on a regular down in space in the open field. You have to be extra precise in the red zone because the DBs, they don't have to worry about anything really after the 10 yards of the back of the end zone. So that space becomes condensed. More people are there, more arms, bodies, and all that kind of stuff. And you see Dalton Schultz go and run his route. And maybe in practice, this route was run on air over and over and over again, and nobody touched Dalton Schultz. But when you go back and you watch the play, as he's trying to release, he gets knocked off his route. And for whatever reason, instead of him keeping his composure, staying composed in that moment, and fighting back where he's supposed to be to carry his route to the back of the end zone, which would have then had what we call a high, low on the safety, he just continued to ooze his route not even 2 feet above CeeDee Lamb, which then allowed the safety defender, the one you wanted to high-low, for him to sit there and play both of you.
Yeah. So he was supposed to stay.
He was supposed
deep?
to stay vertical and go deep.
Deep, okay.
And then it was CD was supposed to run kind of a similar route underneath that. So now that middle defender has to make a decision. Either you're going to back up and play that, and I'm gonna laser this thing into CeeDee Lamb, or you're gonna stay up and close in on CeeDee Lamb, and I got Dalton Schultz in the back of the end zone.
Okay.
And you can tell when Dak let the football go, this was an anticipation throw.
Yeah.
He got to the top of his route, his break, and he didn't even think about looking to where it was. He let that thing rip.
Yeah.
And he let it rip, and he hit the dude in the numbers.
Yeah, the defender was between Schultz and
he hit him
Miami,
right in the numbers.
right where he needed. Yeah.
He hit him right in the numbers.
There was a lot of clutter around that play.
And yes, I put that one on Schultz and Lamb, but there's a slight bit of that goes into Dak Prescott for not being able to recognize coverage. Even though it may have worked in practice, you got to sometimes look and see, this dude ain't move. Yeah. Like, he ain't moving my eyes, he ain't moving my head. He's standing right there. I can't let this one rip. Where's my next read? And then you come back later on in the game, and you're trying to matriculate the ball down the field, and there is that safety again, sitting dead smack in the middle of the field. Now, as a receiver, we call that middle of the field close. When you have split safeties in maybe a cover 2 type of formation or a cover 4 type of formation, sometimes you'll have a half read. But when you have 2 safeties that are sitting on the hash, we as receivers call that middle of the field open. That's when you can bend your route inside there or maybe take it up that seam. But when you got a safety sitting dead smack in that middle, we call that middle of the field closed. And 9 times out of 10, if you have a route that's supposed to go that way, it's supposed to be flat and what we call cross the defender's face. And here we have CeeDee Lamb, which is almost the same route that we saw against Chicago, be run, and CeeDee Lamb looking at this route and thinking to himself, the ball's not going to come, and just casually runs this route. When you watch the interception, he doesn't even look. He doesn't even know the ball is intercepted.
Yeah, he wasn't looking for the pass.
And there is Dak trusting a receiver again, and his receiver not being where he's supposed to be for the reception. 2 turnovers that then the Green Bay Packers turned into 14 points and allowed you to get back in this football game. Miscommunication between maybe a rookie, maybe a guy who didn't get many snaps, but to have miscommunication between your star receiver and your leading tight end is unacceptable to me when you're talking about trying to win important games, especially on the road. You want to comment?
You know, Jess, hey, man, well done.
Yeah. I didn't do anything.
Well done. That's all I can say. 'Cause do your job.
Yeah. You think Lamb
This ain't got nothing to do with the coaches, bruh. Do your job.
Yeah. You think Lamb just didn't think he was the first option or something, and so wasn't ready?
No, that's an excuse, which I'm not willing to give today. And here's why. Leading up to watching the Cowboys game yesterday, I watched the Vikings and Buffalo game. And I watched Jamar Chase be doubled, tripled, all over the field. And I watched him work his tail off to a tone of 10 catches for 193 yards and a touchdown, and made one of probably the greatest catches you'll see this season. So
yes.
My mindset is, if I'm the number 1 receiver, this is just how I think. And when the number ones that I've been around in my time across this league, the ball is always coming to me. I don't give a damn what the coverage is. It's coming to me because I'm the best. It's coming to me because I am WR1. It's coming to me whether it's man coverage, zone coverage, double coverage, whatever. My quarterback's going to throw me the football because I'm that dude.
Yeah.
And for CeeDee Lamb to sometimes go through these routes and have this lackadaisicalness to him as if he's just a regular dude bothers me. And you know what? He's not in the conversation of what Justin Jefferson is. He's not in the conversation of what guys like Tyreek Hill is. He's not in that conversation. And maybe we should stop expecting him to be in that conversation. Because just because you hold the title of wide receiver 1, that don't mean you get talked about amongst those. Like a Jefferson, like a Jamar Chase. Because those dudes, they see the same coverages you see. And this is and while you ended up with a great game, 11 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is your first 100-yard game since week something against the Vikings a year ago.
Yeah, been a while.
It's been a while. And you don't even see the coverages that the elite jokers is seeing. And he had Justin Jefferson had
You're gonna shake your arm off.
He had 193 yards.
You're gonna shake his arm. Says you're gonna shake your arm off.
It just blows my mind, man. It blows my mind.
Says your arm all right?
It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Hey, fellas, if I'm Coach McCarthy, every sign I got over there would come down. And I will have one slogan. Fellas, men, young gentlemen, whatever young guys call themselves, do your job. I'm serious. You mean to tell me the wide receiver coach has not said over and over what you've said, Brother Jess?
Then someone needs to hold these guys accountable.
That's what I'm saying.
Then who's holding these guys?
How do you do that, though?
You got to start benching some jokers. You got to start. The pine will change a lot of minds.
This is what Coach Johnson.
Yeah.
This is what Coach Johnson has always told us. I'm gonna finish the story. I heard him say in practice one day, Norv threw a route and it didn't work. Coach Johnson looked at Troy, throw it. And throw it and keep throwing it because I can get somebody else in here. So what he was saying, you have 2 options. We either going to stop throwing this route or we going to change the player that's running this route. And he said, I prefer to change the player that's running this route because we have to keep our route tree open. That should be my man 85's route. We know he's going to come across there and get it. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
So you either change the route and not run it again, or that guy don't run that route again, unless we repped it 8,000 times on the field, and you can't do it. So that means you got to work out the practice with somebody helping you.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is the only way to do it. The days of benching guys, you don't have enough.
Yeah, that's.
You don't. Your money ain't unlimited.
If you put Lamb on the bench, then you're stuck with what?
Yeah,
Jalen.
Yeah,
Tolbert.
and Jalen Tolbert lining up off sides.
I mean, that'll reverberate throughout the entire room. Mm-hmm. That'll say, you know what? We lost this game because you didn't do good enough, and we had to bench you.
I was just like, he ain't running his route.
I've seen it happen.
You just can't. Yeah,
I've seen Wes Walker get benched for a first
but
half.
that's a different
in
coach,
New England.
different style.
He's your number 1 receiver, and he got benched.
That's a different coach, different style.
It wasn't because he liked the production. He made a comment that Bill Belichick told him not to make.
Oh.
And he benched him when he said something about Rex Ryan's white feet.
Oh, yeah.
And he benched him for the first half. I seen Bill Belichick bench a running back who had 100 yards and 3 touchdowns the week before because he was late. But
I
those
seen
are the
Cutter do for doing that.
Those are the type of things that will echo through the locker room. But when you watch film and you see your star guys do this week in and week out and go, well, hell, if he ain't got to stay focused and what he got to do, you get Jalen Tolbert lining up off sides because the lack of focus is not there.
Yeah.
Because Jalen Tolbert's watching the guy in front of him who's supposed to be wide receiver number one and saying, well, hell, he like focus too. So I don't have to be as focused as him.
I'm with you, but I'm going to tell you, he's right here, my friend.
Yeah.
It's some guys that can run that route a little better.
I get you. Let's take one last break so we can kind of stay somewhat on time today, and then we'll try to do something to wrap this thing up. This is a 2-day event. We'll talk about this again a little bit tomorrow because there's so much stuff we haven't even got a chance to even touch on. But stay with us. It's Hanging with the Boys. We'll be right back.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience AT&T Stadium's exclusive VIP Owners Club. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. We are sitting here in our sorrow.
No, we're not, man, because we reported this right last week. We did our job.
Even though we picked the Cowboys to win.
Yeah, we all thought we'd
and I'm going to pick them again every week.
We all said this. We all talked about John Wick has to be killed.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You gotta kill him. And for the Cowboys to go into this football game, entering the fourth quarter, up 14 points, you gotta put 2 to the dome right here.
Oh, jeez, don't be graphic. You can talk about it, but don't be graphic, man.
Oh, man.
Stop, man.
And they didn't.
Yeah, well, they couldn't because I think, like you said, Rodgers knows how to manage the game. He knew the passing game wasn't going to be, he left it to the running game to do all the heavy lifting. Even yelled at his coach, like you said, cussed him out, said, run the ball. Yeah. He knew how to manage that game where maybe our
team of guys,
our quarterback wasn't going to do that, even though the running game was doing well against one of the worst running.
You always talk about the $40 million+ quarterback, right? And I tell people at times, if you're a quarterback in this league, especially a starter, you're supposed to be able to
go Tar Heels.
Jeff Saturday, yes, he won. Go Heels. You're supposed to be able to make throws, right? You're supposed to be, but see, they pay the $40 million ones to make the throw, to make the play. Everybody, if you're a quarterback in this league, everybody can play. Everybody can play. But the elite ones, the ones who are supposed to be in that category of 40 million plus, it's those moments in time where I need you to make the right decision, the right call, the pick the right receiver, audible to the right thing for us to win a football game. That is the difference between elite really good, and your average Joe. And I think that's part of the reason why Dak has never and probably will never be in those elite conversations. Because elite is, I know that I only got to pass the ball 20 times and be super efficient when I do it.
Yeah.
Because I got something that's so unique and going. Because he could have looked at Anthony Brown and said, "I'm gonna pick on you all day and throw the ball 40 times," and probably could have had success. Or hey, you know what? He go down with a concussion. Anthony, Kelvin Joseph or Deron Bland. All right, we're gonna go at you all day long. But he's like, well, why? Why put the ball in harm's way when I can hand it off to these two stallions back here?
Yeah.
and they can't do nothing with it. Yeah. And they can't do a thing with it.
Yep.
It's oh man. I mean there's this defense. This defense. We talked about it before. Everybody is so enamored with the sack party.
Yeah.
Go get the sack. Go get the sack. Go get the sack. People say, well, I didn't see Micah Parsons be Micah Parsons yesterday. You know why? He threw the ball 6 times in the first half. Micah couldn't be Micah because they said, you can't be what you can't create havoc because we're going to just keep running the football.
Yeah.
And we're going to run away from you. We're going to sometimes run at you. And we're going to run it again and again and again and again. And there's nothing that you did to stop them from doing this.
And when you think you can take down 33, we got something a little bit bigger. A.J. Dillon was punished.
Oof.
Them 65 yards hurt. Those 65 yards that kid got yesterday hurt.
Yes, they did. Yeah, man. Where else do you guys want to go? I know we got to get up out of here.
Let's get on up out of here, man. We got tomorrow. We got
bed.
tomorrow. Yeah, we got tomorrow.
I think tomorrow, because I know there's a lot of people out there. And again, there's so much we need to
the
talk
calls
about.
come in?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Think
feel
so?
an avalanche. I feel an avalanche coming on.
I think tomorrow we need to hear from the people.
Yeah, the people, man. They
People are
hurting
mad.
too.
They're angry.
They're hurting, man.
They're angry.
They're hurting, man.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so. This Cowboys team is going to be a contender. And I just heard Nate's voice in my head as I'm watching the game. All I kept hearing is equal to or better. Equal to or better. Until we play a team that is talent-wise is equal to or better and beat them, we ain't really who we say we are.
We're not.
We ain't really who we say we are.
Do your job. Do your job.
And the one time I was agreeing with you yesterday, I said, run the football, y'all. I said, Nate's right. Nate's right. Run the football. What are we doing? Run it.
Y'all think we should gather up and drive to Minnesota?
Who?
Us.
Nah, I'm not going
cold
there for
up
that.
there.
I'm not going there for that. I ain't going there for that.
I mean, if we up in the stands,
Minnesota
maybe with the boys.
came back to win in Buffalo.
In
You
Buffalo.
feeling good about this weekend?
Maybe there'll be less talk about recruiting a certain player and more focus on the Minnesota Vikings this week. We'll see how that goes down. We'll see if the owner, the GM, the head coach, the star quarterback, the star receiver, the star linebacker, and all the other people who wanted to be out in the media and be on social media about recruiting a certain player, I guess you forgot that you had a game up in Green Bay this weekend. And I know Mike McCarthy wanted this game so bad.
Oof, he did.
And Aaron got him. Aaron got him and he hugged him. He hugged him like Fredo and kissed him on the cheek.
Like Fredo.
He hugged him like the Italian mom.
You know what they did with Fredo at the end, right?
What they do?
When mom passed away, make sure Fredo gone.
And he
Took Fredo out in a boat and blah, blah, blah.
He took Mike McCarthy out in Lambeau, laid him to rest. Laid him down to rest and said, you won't get me this time. You won't get me this time, man.
That's
The
pretty good.
boogeyman is still alive and well, and they have given themselves an opportunity now to maybe make a run for the playoffs. We don't know. We'll see. But the Cowboys lose this game 31-28 to the boogeyman in the Green Bay Packers. We'll try to do what we can for the rest of this day, but we feel your frustration. Do your job. Do your job. I'm going to do my job and get us up out of here. Nate, thank you for waiting on me, brother. Kurt,
Had
thank you
to
for
today,
waiting on
bro.
me. Chris,
Had to.
Audio
I didn't know you was
Jazz.
coming all black.
Yeah, Audio Jazz. Man, I was dressed for a funeral. Fredo got killed. Mike McCarthy got taken out in the back, slammed the headphones down. You got to pay for them headphones, brother. Them headphones ain't did nothing to you. You should have been on them headphones telling them, run the ball, Kellen, run the ball. Don't slam them down. Don't, whatever. Yeah. I don't know who they got up next. Not Mickey, Newey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry.
Barry. All right.
Yeah.
Barry will tell you more about how they should have ran the ball and how he didn't want the one to tackle
Hickman
A.J.
Harrison.
Dillon. All them jokers in the fourth quarter either. All right, man. This is Hanging with the Boys. I'm Jesse Holly. We out.
We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!